How
Oh,
are you?
I'm chilling, man. I'm Chris. Nice to meet you, brother. How you doing?
Nice to meet you as well. I'm doing well.
How was the trip? How was the traveling? I know you're in Houston right now, right?
I'm Austin. Austin.
Oh, Austin. Okay. How was the trip?
It was quick. It's about 2.5 hour flight, so not too bad.
How's the holiday traffic though? Is there a lot of people? Is it annoying at all? Or
It wasn't bad. The airport I fly out of is a little smaller, so it's pretty low key. And then Austin is not too bad.
okay, nice. Yeah. Over here in I'm in San Fernando Valley, which is right outside of LA, and we have Burbank Airport, which is a smaller airport, easier. I love traveling in and out of that airport. It's so small that they let us deep like board and unboard. What is it? Yeah, like they let us onboard and deplane from the back door. So it's like staircase
Oh,
tarmac.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny, man. Yeah, LAX is a beast, so I would try to avoid that as much as possible.
always. Yeah, and it's like 45. Depending on traffic, it could be like an hour and a half away from me. So it's pretty crazy. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, man, super excited to meet you and chop it up with you. I've never done this before. I usually have like a podcast format or something, but I thought this would be cool just to get a couple questions out of the way without having to lock you down for like an hour or two for a podcast.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
and honestly, this is more fun for me too. It's just like little nuggets of like it's like little mini podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've seen the podcasts and I enjoy watching those. But this is cool. This is cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I guess let's start off with an intro. Let me get just be like my name is and my Instagram is.
My name is Ben Comai. Instagram is at Ben_Comai. Keeping it simple, man.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like I noticed it says in your bio that you're an astronaut. Is that true?
Uh, according to Instagram, so believe social media at your own discretion. But I am an astronaut. uh, that yeah, that's a funny. I did the AI portraits. You see all the people posting their AI stuff, and for some reason, when I did mine, it scanned my face and it just thought space astronaut. So I got a bunch of astronaut pictures. So maybe it was a sign.
Yeah, it's a sign. I don't know how AI comes up with their stuff, but maybe they saw like something in your facial, like your image DNA that said this guy doesn't know it, but he should be an astronaut or something. I don't know.
They probably know better than I do.
What do you do though? What are you a full time reseller or is this part time for you?
Yeah, I've been full time reselling for the last 6 months. Before this, I was actually in car sales, and really unfulfilling job for me. So I started reselling about 6 months ago, and it kind of just happened all at once. One day I was working selling cars, and I decided that just wasn't for me, and I left the dealership, and I was like, what do I do now? And I'd been involved kind of in sneakers and streetwear stuff, and I'd been involved in vintage, but just really on the collecting side of it. And so I was like, man, this is something I love. It's something I'm passionate about. Let me look into this, and that's where it all started. So I'm a newbie in the game.
Man, that's awesome. That makes me even more excited for the attention that your live show is getting now because now I know that you're someone who is just like those industries are just so alluring, right? Like when you're stuck in a job or like a 9 to 5 type situation and you do things like sneakers or vintage and you see all these people having fun making livings off that and you're like, how do you do that? Well, the answer is you got to kind of just take that step off of the cliff, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, all right, cool, man. That's great to hear. And so you took that step off of the cliff, and what made you go in the vintage direction?
Yeah, I love sneakers, big sneakerhead. Um, and I thought, man, I could do sneakers. It was the big issue with sneakers for me was just the one like the margins when you like dig into the numbers. You know, you can buy sneakers for $300, but sometimes you're only flipping them and making 40-50 bucks. Whereas with shirts and stuff like that, it's like man, a lot of this stuff we can go to the Goodwills, we can go to the bins, or if you're sourcing and getting really good bundles and stuff like that, you can have really good margins in a business sense. And then in the other sense, like sneakers are really cool, but I was just kind of getting tired of sneakers, and I've always loved shirts. I've always loved the thrift stores, kind of style, fashion, and this just it made sense to me. So that's where I kind of went vintage.
That's awesome. And when did you start hosting lives?
That's a great question. So I don't think I ever tried to even just like be a host. I didn't have that thought of I want to be an Instagram like live host. It started when you probably know Steven, Drive Through Vintage.
Drive
I
through
went
web
I
shop.
started going live with shout out to Steven. I started going live with him. That was the first time I ever went live on Instagram, and we were doing level up battles. And that kind of turned into me just getting more comfortable going live in general, because that's a kind of a daunting thing when you first do it. So that really helped me get comfortable, and I got involved with the Duck Boys, Uncle Bob, and NFTs, and they kind of welcomed me into their realm, and we started doing more lives. And ended up hosting a lot of those from my end, which was really cool. And that's a lot of entertainment, and I love doing that. So that was really cool. Recently, I would say I've only really been hosting lives now for like the last month. And that's when I kind of focused on doing that. So really, I would say a host, maybe about a month. Instagram Live, the last 5 months I've been trying to learn. And then the last month I've really kind of picked up some of those pieces, put them together, and said, man, I think I can do this.
That is nuts, man. Yeah, I'm super interested in this because, me being a live host, I just really trip out on how the landscape of Instagram lives, selling lives is just expanding and always changing. You think you have like a stronghold on something and the way that it's going, and then someone like you pops up. And the reason that I wanted to invite you on is because last week you had viewership in your lives that was like 2020 numbers, 180
Yeah.
consistently. People were sending me the live all day, which is something that also happened in 2020 when I was off live and someone else was live and their live was going crazy, a piece was getting ran up, viewership was crazy. I would just be getting DMs. And I hadn't had that in a minute until last week, or yeah, it was last week. And I kept getting sent your live. And every time I check in, 180, 180. So you said you started off with Steven, Drive Through Vintage, but I've never seen Steven get that kind of viewership or that kind of intensity. Am I wrong?
Yeah, every once in a while we would pop off and we'd get, maybe push 100 or so. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen those numbers really unless it was a bigger kind of deal, something maybe you were doing. I think when you and Wiz and a couple other guys got back on for that one um, blind bid thing that you guys did, you had some really great viewers and numbers like that. But I, yeah, we that was amazing. That was incredible. I didn't expect that, so that was cool.
And what do you think about that attention? How do you think you were able to garner that?
Yeah, that's incredible in my opinion. I had hoped coming into this, I had hoped that we would be able to do something really cool, and I think the goal was, man, maybe we'll hit 150, maybe we'll get 200 people to see it, but we'll probably hover in that 100 viewer range, um, and it blew my mind. I tried not to look at that little number up there like during the live too much, but I was like, I peaked 180, 220. We peaked at 297 viewers, which was insane. Uh, and so for me, being really excited when we got 20 people in our live or 30 people, and we were you feel really good about that, to okay, now there's 150, 200 people in here. Like, what is going on? That's an incredible feeling. And yeah, I definitely couldn't do it alone. There is a lot of people in the community that have been supporting me and have been behind me. So that's been amazing. Yeah. Incredible is definitely the word I would use to describe it.
That's awesome, man. I'm super hyped for you, especially like I said earlier, knowing that you quit your job because you just weren't feeling fulfilled, and now you're stepping into this, you're getting this kind of attention. That helps out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Absolutely.
tell me about some crazy moments that have happened on your show in the 5 months or even on this past week. Besides like crazy viewership, what are maybe some items that sold for a crazy amount or things that just shocked you?
Oh, great question. So my journey in lives has been really interesting. I I won a bid for a Silver Surfer AOP t-shirt for like super low. And then I was like, man, I don't like I was like, I don't have the viewership or that base that of people to just buy this, $700 to $1,000 t-shirt. So how am I gonna do this? So I did a raffle for that shirt, and it ended up we created this crazy new way to run duck races. And Nick and Bob helped me out with that.
So duck
And
races, for the people who aren't too familiar with that, me being one of them. I know
yeah,
that's so you collect payment while you're on the live to fill up these raffle spots.
yeah. You just fill in raffle spots, and then there's a duck race that happens. And it's you watch the race, and whoever wins gets the prize.
And every
Um,
deck, I'm assuming, advances based on whatever number gets picked in the raffle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so each duck correlates to the number. It's really fun and cool to watch if you've never seen it. Sometimes you're like, what is happening right now? But it's a really really cool thing that I got involved with, and so that was awesome. And so I started doing that for a while. That turned into um, kind of its own thing. We created a duck chat, and I think at one point we had like 70 people in the duck chat. And we are just, really using that to kind of build community and engagement. That was awesome. And from there, I was like, man, what can we do to spice things up? And so we had level up battles, and then we had, 1v1 t-shirt battles and stuff like that. Um, I'm not sure who created that, but I took that and I was like, man, how can we spice that up? And so I talked with a couple people, and we're like, yo, what if we do pink slips? And
Okay, tell me
if you
about
want
that.
to
I've
if you want
heard.
to talk about crazy moments, pink slips was probably the wildest thing that we've done, other than maybe the tournament. Um, so 1v1 battles, each person shows one t-shirt and you auction it off. The highest bidder picks the winner. And normally it's all good fun. The loser, they just don't get to sell their shirt, and they live to fight another day. In pink slips, you're basically putting your shirts on the line, and the loser loses their t-shirt and gives it to the winner. So
Oh,
so you have to come really correct.
you
The
gotta come
problem is,
correct.
yeah, you don't know what your opponent is going to pull out.
Oh
So
my
we've
God. But
seen,
imagine coming correct and then you lose it and now you got to give the shirt up. Oh,
yeah,
what's like, tell me about some of these heartbreaks that you've seen.
we we've had a couple. One of the very first ones we did, it was the Slayer AOP versus two Offspring 90s Offspring shirts. That was a really good battle. We had one battle where two vendors both pulled the same Metallica AOP. And it was just like, that was a
Okay,
crazy
that's
one.
great entertainment. And now I'm seeing why your lives are getting so much attention because that's insane. So I got to ask, who won between the two Offsprings versus the Slayer?
So the Slayer ended up winning that one.
So the two
So
Offsprings win the Slayer.
the two Offsprings got sent. The cool little twist we came up with was sometimes you don't, maybe you don't want the other person's shirt. So we said, if you don't want it, you can start it for $1 auction right then and there. the people can run it up, and then you get the money from the sale, and the loser still has to ship their shirts to the buyer.
I don't know what's worse, like having to give up your shirt to someone, or having to collect the money, or like having to auction it, hold
You
it
gotta
up.
hold it there in your.
Is everybody good sports though? They gotta be, because that's a
We
cool concept.
Yeah, we had a one or two little hiccups that we dealt with, but that kind of helped us just learn and make it better. But overall, anyone we let in is a really good sport about it. But it's tough, man. It's tough when you lose your T-shirt and you just gotta kind of sit there and take it. But that crazy moments, pink slips, super to crazy. The tournament was wild. I mean, we saw Bjorks get pulled out, Megas get pulled out. We had some anime grails, a Sade, a Fuji's grail, just crazy shirts were getting run. Upsets. I mean, it was a seeded tournament. So we had 1 to 16 seeds, 4 regions. So you think like a 1 seed should definitely beat a 16, a 2 seed should definitely beat a 15. Um, by the Sweet 16, there's only one seed left and two seeds left, because anyone can pull out a crazy shirt and win, which is amazing. And we saw some people really like show what they were made of.
And who ended up winning that? Shout them out.
So, hey, shout out to Just Jared. Just Jared was representing for the Marvel community. He ended up showing 2 different megas. He showed the Spider-Man mega. He showed the Wolverine mega. He showed a 93 Rogue solo hit, and a 94 Hawkeye. He showed some really, really great stuff. He was holding it down for the Marvel heads. So guys, don't sleep on the Marvel stuff.
And that's fire. Held it down for the Marvel team with Marvel pieces. That's sick. Shout out Just Jared. And my last question here for you is, where do you plan on taking your lives? Is there another step for you, or just having fun right now? Do you have any goals with it?
Yeah, I definitely want to keep doing the tournaments. The people have really loved it. I think we can make it better, bigger. Maybe you'll join us in one of these tournaments.
That's another thing. People kept telling me, you gotta hop in here, you gotta hop in. But every time I'm a dad, family man.
Oh
So every
yeah,
time I'd get a message, I'd be like with my son, or like, watching a movie with the family, or, doing some kind of family stuff. But definitely keep shooting me that request, and I'd love to do. I mean, I don't know if I could do pink slips. That sounds too crazy.
yeah. Pink slips. You don't have to do it. We don't make anyone do pink slips, but if we got you in the tournament, or just doing a 1v1 battle, that would be crazy. But tournaments, definitely want to keep doing that. The next one is going to be in March. We're already planning it.
I'll be there.
But yeah, next steps, man. People have asked me, they're like, man, are you gonna start doing sets and like charging for sets and doing auctions and stuff like that? And it's definitely something that's crossed my mind. I've thought about it. One of the biggest things I think about is, man, we got people like you, Henry from Final Flame, you got Ev, Spacely, Mohammed, all these awesome dudes that hold it down in that space. I mean, you guys don't really need me to do sets, and that's not really what I think people come to watch, my lives for. Want to see us, doing another set with a vendor just showing pieces. They want to see like, what's that creative new thing that we're doing, kind of an entertainment factor. So I'm still trying to figure out the answer to that question, but I'm definitely working on it. I'm definitely not settling for where I'm at, man. I'm an ambitious person, so I do it for fun. I love to have fun. It Like this last one was definitely not about money or anything like that for me. It is a business. I mean, I'm doing this full time now, so I do have to look out for myself a little bit. But I'm having so much fun. And at the same time, I'm getting to help other people and engage with this amazing community. So I'm just really excited. But I'm still working on the answer to where or what is next. But I like to shoot for the stars, man. So who knows? Who knows?
That's a good place to be, is having fun and just enjoying it that way. And I think some of the most organic ideas are born from that. But I do want to I want to share one thing with you before we go, which is that what I've noticed, like I said, I'm always studying the live landscape. I find it very interesting. Since the beginning, when I started it in March of 2020, I've just seen it change so many times. And what I can tell you is that um, as a host, you shouldn't say, oh, there's these other hosts and maybe I don't have to do it, because there's already that kind of show. What happens is the buyers and your audience, they grow an attachment to you. They become loyal to you. In fact, they feel most comfortable going live with you rather than with me or with Final Flame, or because there's people like that as many years as I've been hosting have never approached me to do a set, but have done sets with other hosts that they feel more comfortable with.
Yeah,
So
that
that could be something
that's
for you.
very true.
It's like, yeah, you wouldn't be coming in and taken away from the other live hosts. Instead, you would be serving your community. So just my input.
Hey, I love that, and I did not think of that. So I really appreciate that.
For sure, brother. Well, that's all the questions that I had, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me. Do you think there's anything that I'm missing?
I don't think so. I really appreciate this. It was cool, man. You've been a huge influence in this community, in this space. So when I got the message from you, I was like, all right, this is really cool, man. I must be doing something right. So I appreciate it. Really awesome, kind of getting that validation
No
that the
sweat,
hard
man.
work you're putting in is paid. So
All you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time, man. Enjoy your holiday. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, brother.
Uh, this has been really cool.
Likewise, likewise. And I run that other account, Vintage Awards, and I just love people doing amazing things in this space. And I always try to put a spotlight on them, because for me coming up, there was like nobody did that for me, and
Yeah.
it's real easy to shine a spotlight on someone like I am right now, help them out, and it doesn't take anything for me to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I have fun doing this. And I'm a lot like you in that I had a 9 to 5 before I started doing this full time. 2016, I quit my job. Same thing, not feeling fulfilled. I was like, man, this is not life, you know.
Mhm.
And there was, oh fuck, what was I gonna say? There was something that I was gonna tie into that, but yeah, it's just when you do that, you need all the help that you can get. So I love doing this, man. And if I remember, I'll shoot you a message. But
Absolutely.
thanks for coming
I
on, brother.
appreciate
Appreciate
it.
you. All right, man. Have a
Awesome,
great
man.
rest
Great
of
to
your
meet
day.
you. Good talking. Peace.
Yeah, man. Likewise. Peace.